What? Microwave ketchup? That's fine. Frankie Blue!
I'm hungry.
Is he hungry?
Frankie Blue. And oop.
Greetings, Internet. Welcome to But I'm Still a Good Person by Vince Nicholas. I'm your host, Vince Nicholas. I'm joined by my sparkling wifey, Carolyn Nicholas.
Hello.
Hello, honey. Thank you for joining me at our dining room table for our little program here. Okay, so we ate at Altos Cantina, which is a new Mexican restaurant in West Sacramento, California, on Jefferson Boulevard. It took the place of the formerly operating venue called Jefferson Bar and Grill. We went there twice. Unimpressed both times. One with your parents. The other time we saw Jamie Coffee there. But it never really made an impact.
It was fine, but it wasn't impressive or memorable, really.
Yeah. And the second time we went, when it was just me and you, the bar scene was a little rowdy. And it was like Friday afternoon, still light out. And there were guys like putting each other in headlocks at the bar and a lot cursing. And it was a scene. But Altos Cantina opened a few months ago, soft launch, but they're fully open now. They describe themselves as Mexican food and drinks, so it's a Mexican joint. We didn't plan it. We had an impromptu date. We're out and about on the town, running errands and whatnot. And then we were kind of like calling each other's bluff. You were like, should we go to Altos? And I said, and you were driving, and I said, well, I'm not going to stop you. And then you said, okay, I'm getting in the right lane. And I said, well, that's where you need to be if you want to go into Altos. So we were kind of like hedging each other's bets, kind of pushing each other, but without wanting to fully commit to Altos because we're supposed to be on track.
Right. I didn't want to be responsible for taking us out.
Right. So Altos Cantina, we walk in, and it's seat yourself, which I like. You don't have to wait for the hostess. You don't have to wait for, is this table open? Do you want, they take you to an area of the restaurant you don't want to be, and it's a small place, but it's like seat yourself wherever you want, and a waitress will be with you soon. Within less than 10 seconds of us sitting down, chips and salsa.
Oh, yeah.
Right away. It was like, this is happening. This is the spot. One knock, the chips were not fresh.
Oh, no. I think they were from a bag.
Yeah.
They weren't baked in-house.
Yeah. They got a giant bag of Totinos or Santitos or your average grocery store tortilla chip.
They were okay.
Yeah. They were perfectly mid. But I love fresh chips. Fresh grease, fresh hot, and a bunch of salt on it. But yeah, the chips were a slight miss. You had just brushed your teeth, so you didn't. That threw a wrench into your menu decision making.
I think it altered the taste of the salsa.
Oh,
because I liked the salsa and you thought it was too hot.
Yeah.
So I think the mint was doing something in my mouth.
Right. And this place is fairly authentic, or whatever you want to call it, Mexican. And you started Googling Spanish terms. Yeah,
there's words on the menu I've never seen or heard of before.
Yeah. I tried to help you out where I could.
And oop.
So you began Googling Spanish words like a white woman at a Mexican restaurant. Well, first you hit me because like I was hecka good at Spanish in 7th and 8th grade. And I'm still really good to this day. 35% fluent, I would say. But you hit me with birria versus quesabirria. And I said quesabirria has cheese in it. But then you were asking about a la cora and aguachile. And I threw my hands up at that point. It was a fun, festive atmosphere. Busy, but not too busy. They had some Mexican Tejano music rolling on the speakers. Pub-style seating, honey. Why? I understand at the bar because the bartender, you don't want him bending over all the time making drinks. But pub-style seating in the regular dining room, I don't get it.
I'm not a fan. I guess. Do people like being up high? It's like sitting in a high, tall truck.
Yeah.
People just like being up high.
You look down like a gargoyle on the top of a building. As a young man, when I bought a dining room table, I got pub style because I was like, that looks cool. But really quickly, I was like, this is dumb. I want my feet on the ground.
Yeah, your feet are dangling like a toddler.
Right.
And oop.
Yeah, I looked around at pub stop, people sitting in pub style chairs and tables, and I thought, that looks uncomfortable, and you don't need to be such a show off. Okay, so you got the La Fajita skillet with shrimp, described as sauteed onions, bell peppers, tomatoes, and finished with special sauce for $20. La Fajita skillet, honey, thoughts, feelings, comments, reflections?
This was so good.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And the most impressive thing of all is that this meal came in 2 plates.
Yes.
So one plate was completely devoted to the veggies and the shrimp.
Right.
And it was really hot, sizzling. Yeah. And then the other plate was the beans.
Cold.
Rice.
Yeah, the rice and beans were hot.
It was beans, rice, and then some green lettuce with tomatoes. Guac. A huge scoop of guac.
Yeah.
So it was like getting 2 meals.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was like the McDLT back in the day where they separated the hot and the cold, and you put it together so it'd be as fresh as possible.
I forgot it also came with some tortillas, and I went with corn.
You went with corn, and I went with flour because I'm a greedy American. And you went with the more authentic choice. You're Googling Spanish terms, but you went with the authentic tortilla choice. I had a bite of your shrimp. It was good. And then I got the steak Alteño skillet, described as pieces of sirloin steak sauteed with onions, jalapenos, tomatoes, and finished with Diablo salsa or Diablo sauce. First of all, so a normal entree at a Mexican restaurant, you got your protein, say you get carne asada, and then the rice and beans are on the same plate, maybe a little salad, some greens, and it's all like on the same plate. But yeah, the 2 plates, it was like, wow, it was perfect presentation.
Yeah.
We were overwhelmed. We were like, wow, this is crazy. You said immediately, I hope you brought your appetite. Our food was hot, like temperature wise. Like it was too hot. You couldn't you couldn't eat it at first because it was fresh off the grill, still sizzling. They did the thing like your shrimp and then my steak. The plate that it was on was sizable, and it was metal plate on top of a wood like cutting board or whatever. Why do they do that?
Because I think it's actually like a cast iron plate.
Yeah. And
so you don't want to put that directly down on the table. So the wood is protecting it.
Yes. And actually at one point I moved my plate a little, the wood with the metal plate on top, and there was like, it was moisture. There was condensation going on.
Oh yeah.
Greens, like the little salad they give you, high quality. They could have been out here with some cheap iceberg lettuce.
It was such good quality. The tomato slices were great.
Yeah.
The guac was so good. Yeah. Oddly enough, I think my favorite part of the meal was the salad.
Yeah.
I put the guac on it, and I just ate all the greens while I kind of waited for the veggies and the shrimp to cool down a little.
Yeah. Most guacamoles are just a huge miss. Like they're watery, and avocado is like the 16th ingredient. But this was really good guac. My steak was good. It wasn't Morton's, but it was still a good quality steak. Rice and beans. I'm not a bean guy, but I thought the refried beans were a good time.
They were that kind that's like, they were very like thin, like they'd been through the blender a lot.
Yeah.
I love that consistency with beans.
Yeah. A little, there was a whole bean or like bean shrapnel here and there, but for the most part it was smooth, but it was good. My thing with the Diablo sauce, too much too hot. Well, thankfully, they didn't carpet bomb my entire plate. About 15% of my steak had the Diablo sauce on it. And you could tell because it was like a bright nuclear orange. Too hot, dude.
It was like you were on Hot Ones.
I was on Hot Ones. I was eating the bomb. And it was just way too hot. It was good. Like, it was tasty, but it was just too much. I should have asked for it on the side. I almost did, but I was like, I'm gonna play with fire. I'm gonna take risk, and life is an adventure. But yeah, it was too hot. And every time I geared up for a fork full of some of the stuff with Diablo sauce on it, I was like, here we go. It was yeah. I wish they brought a whole pitcher of ice water to the table. And then the jalapenos in my dish, I just stay away from. I was like, dude, the Diablo is enough.
Yeah, when we were done, your whole plate was clear, and then there's a little pile of the hot peppers on the side.
Yeah, the jalapenos, they didn't rip out the the innards, the white part, the seeds too. Yeah, so I was like, I'm not gonna even try it.
You know your limits.
I went through lots of napkins. I wanted to apologize to the waitress. I was a mess. There were crumbs on my shorts.
That was another thing I loved, is each of us got a little basket with our silverware and our tortillas. Yeah. And then it also had like 5 extra napkins for each of us.
Yeah, more napkins. I dropped a chip on the floor.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Miss Waitress. You were a lovely server. And I want to apologize to you. I wish they turned up the AC, because I was a sweating mess from the heat of the Diablo sauce, and then just the heat from our hot entrees, and then we did the thing like you got your tortillas, so you make fajitas, you make little burritos or whatever little soft tacos, and normally I don't like that, and I still didn't like it, but I think that's best, because if they make it for you in the kitchen, then automatically it starts soaking through into the tortilla.
Yeah, and I like how you can take some bites of just the peppers, and then then you can scoop it in the tortilla for a whole different experience if you want.
Right, a little rice, a lot of rice. It's your choice. You do you, boo boo. I wish they provided plastic gloves. Just in general, Mexican restaurants. Well, when you get a giant burrito and it just starts falling apart, when you get like 2/3 done and it just starts becoming a mess, I wish you had they provided plastic gloves.
You don't like eating with your hands in public.
Yeah. I'm very self-conscious of that. Alto's Cantina, way better than Jefferson Bar and Grill.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Without saying. Our total was $41 and change. We tipped about $9, paid $50, which is quite the tip. But it was a lot of food.
It was a lot of food. It was so good. I can't wait to go back.
Yeah.
I want it right now.
It was really, really good.
And oop.
So we were off track with Altos, and then we were like, let's go get ice cream.
Let's be wild.
Let's go wild. We're crazy.
And oop.
So we were off track with Altos, and then we were like, let's go get some ice cream, as you like to pronounce it. So our Rite Aid has a Thrifty Ice Cream scoop stand area deal thingy. And Thrifty Ice Cream, if you're just joining us, used to be a chain of pharmacies, drugstores. But they always had a little ice cream stand, like a little area where they scoop you up some ice cream, and it was fresh, and it was good, and it was cheap.
Really good. Everyone knew and loved Thrifty Ice Cream. It was a thing.
Yeah. What does Thrifty Ice Cream mean to you in your life, honey?
It was a fun treat when we were young. I have vivid memories of being at Thrifty with my mom and my brothers.
Yeah.
And we would get a scoop, and then we'd go stand out front of the store and eat it.
Lick it.
We used to go to the Thrifty on Kiefer Boulevard. That Rite Aid is still there, but I don't think that location has the ice cream counter anymore.
Correct. Yeah.
They got rid of that.
Yeah. I have fond memories also. My stepdad, Grandpa Curtis, would take us to Thrifty for ice cream. I did double scoop always. I did the triple scoop once, and I regretted it. 'Cause it's just too much ice cream and it starts melting. So we tried to go there once, but we got some weird response. Like the lady was like, "It's not open," or something.
Yeah, apparently the one here the ice cream counter isn't open hardly ever.
Yeah.
So if you happen to come upon it and they're open and scooping scoops, you're really lucky.
Yeah. People have problems getting ice cream at the Thrifty Ice Cream. So you got to go to the normal cashier. You got to go through to the normal counter. Like if you're buying whatever, Rite Aid trail mix. And so we got the guy. He was like the lone employee. And it wasn't super busy, but there were people before us and there were people after us, and I felt bad. But how they ring you up is you go to the regular cashier section, and he's like, you want 2 scoops? Okay. And he has a barcode, and he just scans it on a piece of paper, rings you up there. You paid there. And then you walk over to the ice cream section. It's not far, 20 feet or whatever. And then he's got so we had a dude who had long hair and a long beard, and he threw on the hair net, and he also threw on a beard net. And I was like, wow, this is a whole deal.
I'm glad he did. I've never seen that before. I didn't know that was a thing.
It was very odd. And so, and then he puts on the plastic gloves. It's a whole deal. And meanwhile, there's customers on the other side of the store waiting for him, waiting to be rung up. But it's like, well, I'm sorry. But he was cool. He was super nice, super good guy. But I felt bad for him that he was the only employee helping a couple customers. They got the cake, cones, sugar, and waffle. We both got cake. Yeah, because that's like the most nostalgic.
I think that's the best flavor, or not flavor. That's the best taste for me because I love it. I love how it's so light and airy, and then I love how the bottom gets kind of soft.
Yeah.
When you're at the very end of it. That's my favorite cone
because it's dripping. I got the double scoop. You got a single scoop. I should have got the cup. I mean, it wasn't hot, but it was sunny, and my thing started melting and dripping on my fingers. Hey, I'm 10 years old again. We walked by the Planet Fitness, which is in that shopping center. So we're eating ice cream, watching people kill themselves on the treadmill. You almost went with cherry chip flavor.
Yes.
It looked inviting.
It sure did.
But you decided against it.
I went with the pecan praline, which was my go-to order as a kid. And I haven't had that in, who knows, years, decades.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
Beard net guy, when he scooped it, he said it's a little soft. For whatever reason, that area of the freezer, not quite as high as it should be in terms of freezing temperature. And then I got the double scoop butter pecan Rican, as Method Man called it back in the 90s, and a scoop of chocolate malted crunch. What did you think of your pecan praline, darling?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was soft, creamy. The pecans were delicious. It has like caramel sauce throughout. Yeah. It was so good. Yeah. It was everything I dreamed of.
Yeah. You asked me the difference between pecan and praline and butter pecan, and I said butter like an idiot. But it really did.
I did have a taste of yours, and it was very buttery.
Yeah. And mine is like, the butter pecan is like yellow. Like it's a butter color or whatever. Right. But yeah, yours was more creamy. Mine was more buttery. They were both bussin'. Chocolate malted crunch, I've never had, but it's much beloved and heralded. It is.
It's a classic Thrifty flavor. I didn't know you'd never had it before.
Yeah, never had it, and I wanted to try it because people on TikTok are talking about it. I thought it was fine. I love the crunch. I love the texture. But chocolate ice cream as a base, I'm just not a fan.
I am the same way. I agree.
You throw the malted crunch into some vanilla ice cream, some vanilla ice cream, and I'm there. I'm all about it. All right, honey. So Alto's Cantina, huge thumbs up.
Can't wait to go back.
Yeah. And Thrifty Ice Cream.
So good.
Good time. By the way, their single scoop is $2.50. But for comparison, Baskin Robbins is $3.50. And Gunther's, which is a well-known Sacramento ice cream institution, $4.80
for one scoop.
$5 for one scoop.
Wow.
Yeah. So $2.50. Our total was $6 something. I got the double. You got the single. I think it was a steal. Mm-hmm. And it was a good time. Yeah, we had a great impromptu mini date. And we'll definitely be back to both Altos and Rite Aid / Thrifty. Okay, well, are we done, honey?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's the end of the program. It's been fun, but not really. Let's all try a little harder next time. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, review, and rate, or don't. Do whatever you want. You're a grown-up. Make your own decisions. Do what's best for your family. Please be sure to use our promo code for HelloFresh. We don't have a promo code for HelloFresh. Goodbye, my parasocial podcast friends. I love you. My wife and I love you. We hope you have a good day today and tomorrow. And sure, I may have made a freaking mess at our dining room table or at our table at Alto's Cantina. I'm sorry.
I want to point out my side was totally clean.
Yeah.
And your side was riddled with napkins and chip remnants and rice particles.
Yeah. I'm a child. I'm a baby, and you can't take me anywhere. I need a bib. But I'm still a good person, and we're still good people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for time. Thank you for caring. I hope you have a wonderful day / night. Oh, bye.
And oop.
Ooh. We got chicken.
Is that crispy, juicy tender? I can't eat no longer. And oop.